Forbidden Love. Once upon a time, in a small village named Brookville, there lived a young boy named Alex. Alex was known for his hard work and kind nature. He was a carpenter, just like his father was before him. Every day, Alex would wake up early, say goodbye to his mother, and head to his small workshop in the market. He would work all day, carving wood into beautiful furniture. People loved his work, and they loved him even more for his honesty and simple life. But deep inside, Alex felt lonely. He wished he could find someone who understood him and his dreams. On the other side of the village, there was a big mansion where Mr. Roberts, the richest man in the village, lived. He had a beautiful daughter named Isabella. Isabella had everything: a big house, beautiful clothes, and many servants. But she did not have freedom. Her father was very strict and never let her go out alone. She was always surrounded by people who watched her every move. She felt like a bird in a cage. She wanted to be free, to see the world, and to find real love. One bright, sunny day, Isabella convinced her maid, Lucy, to take her to the village market. She wanted to see what life was like outside her big house. When she arrived at the market, she was amazed by all the colors and smells. She saw people laughing, talking, and living freely. She felt a strange happiness inside her. While walking through the market, she noticed a young man working with wood. He had dark hair and kind eyes. He was focused on his work, and there was something special about the way he carved the wood. Isabella stood there, watching him. The young man was Alex. He looked up and saw Isabella staring at him. He smiled and asked, "Hello, miss. Do you need something?" Isabella blushed and said, "No, I was just watching. You are very good at your work." "Thank you," Alex replied, still smiling. "I love making things with my hands." From that day, Isabella found reasons to visit the market more often. She would buy flowers and fruits or just walk around, hoping to see Alex. They started talking more, and soon they became friends. They would meet near an old bridge outside the village where no one could see them. They would talk for hours, sharing their dreams and stories. Alex would tell Isabella about his simple life, his love for his mother, and his hopes for the future. Isabella would talk about her father's strict rules, her lonely life in the big house, and her wish to be free like the birds. One evening, under the light of the setting sun, Alex looked into Isabella's eyes and said, "Isabella, I know we come from different worlds. You are rich and I am poor. But I feel something for you that I have never felt before. I think I love you." Isabella's heart started beating fast. She had never heard such honest words. She took a deep breath and said, "Alex, I feel the same. I love you too. I don't care about money or what people say. I only want to be with you." From that moment, their friendship turned into deep love. They continued to meet secretly by the old bridge, dreaming of a future together. but their love was forbidden. One day, one of Mr. Roberts's men saw them together. He reported back to Mr. Roberts, who was furious. He confronted Isabella when she returned home. "How dare you meet that poor boy?" he shouted. "You are my daughter. You will marry someone rich and powerful, not a lowly carpenter." Isabella cried, "But Father, Alex is kind and good. He loves me for who I am, not for your money." But Mr. Roberts would not listen. He locked Isabella in her room and told his men to warn Alex to stay away. They went to Alex's workshop, pushed him around, and threatened him. "If we see you near Mr. Roberts's daughter again, you will regret it," they warned. Alex was scared but determined. He loved Isabella more than anything. He could not live without her. He knew he had to do something. One cold night, Alex decided to take a risk. He climbed over the high walls of Mr. Roberts's mansion and sneaked up to Isabella's window. He knocked softly, and Isabella opened the window. Her eyes were filled with tears. "Alex, you must go," she whispered. "If my father finds you here, he will hurt you." "I don't care, Isabella," Alex said, holding her hand. "I cannot live without you. Let's run away together. We will find a place where no one knows us, and we will be free." Isabella hesitated for a moment, thinking about her father and the life she was leaving behind. But then she looked at Alex, and she knew that he was her true happiness. She nodded and said, "Yes, let's go." That night they ran away under the moonlit sky. They traveled for days, crossing rivers and climbing hills until they reached a small town far from their village. They rented a tiny house with a leaking roof and cracked walls, but to them it was a paradise. Alex worked as a carpenter, making little money, but he was happy. Isabella learned to cook, wash clothes, and clean the house. She found joy in the simple things. They had each other, and that was all that mattered. But their happiness was short-lived. Mr. Roberts was determined to find his daughter. He sent men to search every town and village. After many months, one of his men saw Alex at a local market. He followed him back to their small house and reported back to Mr. Roberts. One night, when Alex was still at work, Mr. Roberts and his men came to the house. They broke down the door and grabbed Isabella. She screamed and cried, "No, leave me. I want to stay with Alex," but they took her away. When Alex came home and saw the broken door, his heart sank. He knew something terrible had happened. Without wasting a moment, he decided to go back to the village. Even though it was dangerous, he sneaked into Mr. Roberts's mansion in the middle of the night. He found Isabella locked in her room crying. When she saw him, she ran to him and hugged him tightly. "Alex, you came for me," she whispered, her voice shaking with fear. "Yes, I promised I would never leave you," Alex replied. But before they could escape, Mr. Roberts appeared with his men. He was furious. "How dare you come here again?" he shouted at Alex. Alex stood tall, his face calm but his eyes fierce. "I love Isabella, and she loves me. You cannot keep us apart forever." Mr. Roberts was about to order his men to attack Alex, but Isabella stepped forward. She faced her father, her eyes filled with tears but also with strength. "Father," she said, "I love you, but I love Alex too. If you love me, let me choose my own happiness." For a moment there was silence. Mr. Roberts looked at his daughter. He saw the love in her eyes, the same love he once had for her late mother. His heart softened. He realized that he could not buy his daughter's happiness with money or force. He sighed deeply and said, "If this is what you truly want, then I will not stop you." Isabella could hardly believe her ears. She ran to Alex, who was bruised and tired but smiling. They hugged each other, knowing that their love had won. From that day on, they lived happily together, not rich in money but rich in love. They built a life filled with simple joys and deep love, proving that true love can overcome even the biggest obstacles. And so, the story of Alex and Isabella's forbidden love became a tale that was told for generations, a story of courage, sacrifice, and the power of true love. The voiceover in this video is provided by English Gum. Copying or re-uploading is strictly prohibited.